So let's talk about the nervous system in detail. Actually, I think that nervous system controls our whole human body, from critical thinking to observation, and from the instantaneous process like breathing, uh, thinking, eating, like from blood flow to everything, or from diffusion to
You're absolutely right. Our nervous system is like the command center of everything we do. It oversees conscious actions like thinking through a tough problem and also handles the automatic stuff we don't even notice, like our heart beating or breathing without effort. It's fascinating how it seamlessly integrates everything, from tiny cellular signals to big decisions.
can you tell me the pathway for that nervous system?
The nervous system has two main parts: the central nervous system, which includes the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which consists of all the nerves branching out to the rest of the body. Signals travel along sensory nerves toward the spinal cord and brain, where they're processed. Then motor signals travel back out through motor nerves to muscles or glands. The autonomic part controls automatic functions like heart rate, while the somatic part handles voluntary movement.
Okay, you mentioned about some of the brain and the spinal cord, peripheral nervous system, which consists of the nerve branching out to the rest of the body. Signals travel along sensory nerves through the towards the spinal cord and brain, where they processed, and then motor signal travel back out through motor nerves to muscles or glands. The automatic part control automatic functions like heart rate. Somatic part handles voluntary movement. But nervous system itself is made of the nerve cells, and uh, diving deep into the nerve cells, there are very complex things going on.
Exactly. At the cellular level, it's all about neurons. Neurons have a cell body, dendrites that receive signals, and a long axon that sends signals. These signals are electrochemical, using ions like sodium and potassium. Neurons communicate across tiny gaps called synapses, where neurotransmitters jump from one neuron to another. This intricate network of communication is what allows us to think, move, and react.
So, if I am thinking now, and if I'm talking with you now, what was the role of nervous system at the cellular level going on?
Right now, your neurons are firing in complex patterns. In your brain, networks of neurons are processing what you want to say. Signals travel down motor neurons to control your vocal muscles, letting you speak. Meanwhile, sensory neurons are bringing in what you hear. At the cellular level, each neuron is sending tiny electrical impulses along its axon, releasing neurotransmitters at synapses, so the message continues. It's a lightning fast cellular symphony enabling this conversation.
That's a very fast processing system, that think combine every second, or what is the speed of their thinking level that things are processing. uh,
The speed of neural processing is impressive. Individual signals, action potentials, travel down axons at roughly 1 to 100 meters per second, depending on the type of neuron and whether it's insulated with myelin. In terms of thinking, complex cognitive tasks involve millions of interconnected neurons firing in parallel. You can have thoughts in fractions of a second, so your brain is constantly working at an astonishing speed.
okay, what are the things we should know from the basics of the nervous system first, and then we will move to further moderate level?
Starting with the basics, you'd want to know the two main divisions: the central nervous system, brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, nerves throughout the body. You'd learn about neurons, their structure, like dendrites, axons, and synapses, and how they transmit signals using electrical impulses and neurotransmitters. Once those fundamentals are clear, you'd move to how reflexes work, how different brain regions specialize in functions, and how the autonomic system manages involuntary processes. It's a layered understanding, building from anatomy to function.
Okay, there are two things. Central nervous system that consists of brain and spinal cord. That is the, I think, processor or the GPU, CPU of the our body, and then the wiring system is the peripheral nervous system that is present everywhere in the body, because every cell, everything needs. Because our body is like so sensitive to everything, so they need to react, and that reaction is governed by this wiring system. And then in between that, or uh, deep down that, there is a neuron that is very interesting to observe, and that understanding one neuron structure will help us to think that okay, at that smallest level things are going like this. And once this fundamentals, okay, then we have reflexes works, brain region specialization, specialize in function, autonomic system manages involuntary processes.
Exactly. Once you've got those core pieces, how neurons communicate, the central versus peripheral roles, you then dive into how different brain areas handle tasks, like the cortex for complex thought or the brainstem for basic survival functions. Reflexes show how quickly the spinal cord can respond without waiting for the brain. The autonomic system, split into sympathetic, fight or flight, and parasympathetic, rest and digest, keeps vital processes running. With these layers, you build up to understanding higher order functions like memory, emotion, and cognition. It's all step by step.
Cortex for complex thought, brainstem for basic survival function, reflexes so how quick quickly the spinal cord can respond without waiting for the brain. The autonomic system split into sympathetic fight or flight, or parasympathetic rest and digest, keep vital processes running. With this layer you, okay, but uh, how did at the first time they thought that brain, there is a brain thing, okay, but the role that is performed by the different parts of the brain, I think that observation was very vital to understand.
It was indeed a long journey of discovery. Early on, people learned from injuries or illnesses, say if someone had damage to one brain area and lost a specific function. In the 19th century, scientists like Broca and Wernicke linked specific brain regions to speech. Later, electrical stimulation studies mapped motor and sensory areas. As tools like EEGs and brain imaging emerged, we could see activity in real time. So it's a blend of clinical observation, experiments, and modern tech that revealed this intricate functional map.
Electrical simulation studies mapped motor and sensory areas.
Exactly, those studies were pivotal. When specific areas of the brain were stimulated, researchers saw corresponding movements or sensations. This led to maps like the motor and sensory homunculi, showing which brain regions control each body part. It's fascinating how this revealed the brain's layout for movement and sensation, like a functional blueprint.
So can you explain that tools like EEG and brain imaging techniques, how actually it works basically from the first principle?
At the simplest level, EEG works by placing electrodes on the scalp to detect the brain's electrical activity. Neurons firing generate tiny voltage changes, and these patterns give us insight into brain states like sleep or attention. Brain imaging, like fMRI, uses strong magnets to measure blood flow changes. Since active brain areas need more oxygen, we track where blood flow increases. Essentially, these tools translate electrical or metabolic signals into data we can visualize, showing us what the brain is doing in real time.
This fMRI and MRI, okay, fMRI especially for the brain, okay, they detect, help us to understand. Okay, basically, I think EEG and this fMRI all works on the same thing, like they capture the electrical impulses.
You're on the right track in that both EEG and fMRI reflect brain activity, but they capture different aspects. EEG directly measures the brain's electrical signals on the scalp, so it's great for seeing the timing of brain events, millisecond level precision. fMRI, on the other hand, measures blood flow changes that correlate with activity. It's slower, on the order of seconds, but shows you where activity is happening. So EEG is for when, and fMRI is more for where. Both together give a fuller picture.
What is the one interesting thing that you observe for these things that we discuss? From that discussions, this discussion, can you tell me?
I find it fascinating that our understanding of the brain came from blending so many approaches, from observing injuries centuries ago to now watching brain activity in real time. The fact that we can non invasively see thoughts or reactions unfold, like an fMRI showing a brain region lighting up, is mind blowing. It's that combination of ancient curiosity and cutting edge tools that really shows how far we've come and how much more we'll discover.
But inside that nervous system, the nerve cells are there, but that nerve cells also required energy to further process, to further reproduce its cells, and to further the cells already there, they need energy to work. How does that happen?
Neurons are energy hungry. They rely on glucose and oxygen, which they get via blood flow. Inside each neuron, mitochondria are the powerhouses, turning glucose into ATP, the energy currency of the cell. This energy powers everything, sending signals, maintaining ion gradients, even helping neurons grow or repair. So every thought and action depends on this constant cellular energy production, keeping your nervous system ready to fire. Quite the efficient engine.
Turning glucose into ATP, what was that part?
That's the process of cellular respiration, specifically in mitochondria. It's a multi step pathway. Glycolysis first breaks down glucose in the cytoplasm, yielding a little ATP. Then, inside the mitochondria, the Krebs cycle and electron transport chain produce the bulk of ATP. Oxygen is crucial here, allowing efficient ATP production. Essentially, neurons use this ATP to fuel their signaling and keep everything running.
Okay, can you give conclusion what we have discussed?
In short, we explored how the nervous system is a complex network, from the brain and spinal cord, the central nervous system, to all the branching nerves, the peripheral system. Neurons, powered by glucose driven ATP, send electrical signals, creating our thoughts, actions, and reflexes. Tools like EEG and fMRI help us map these activities, one in time, the other in space. Ultimately, understanding these layers, structure, function, and energy, gives us a profound glimpse into how we think, move, and experience the world.
Okay, thank you.